Welcome to Quantum Cracks, the channel where we delve into some of the most fascinating mysteries of our universe. In today's episode, we take a look at the WOW signal. On August 15th, 1977, the world changed. Well, it wasn't obvious at the time, but if what some people think is true, then that day forever altered humanity's place in the cosmos. Here's why. It all happened when astronomer Jerry R. Emmon was working late at Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope, an instrument that was searching the skies as part of a SETI project, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. His job was to look for interesting signals among the data the telescope collected. And that day it picked up a peculiar signal from the constellation Sagittarius. It lasted 72 seconds, which was unusual. But what really caught his eye were its characteristics. First, it was exceptionally strong. Second, it was narrowband, meaning that it was focused on a tight range of frequencies, typically associated with intelligent manipulation rather than natural phenomena. And third, and perhaps most tantalizing, its precise frequency was 1420.456 MHz, or 1420 MHz for short. That may seem like an odd number to fixate on, but in the field of SETI, it's considered a special frequency. The natural emission frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, it's the building block of stars and planets. Astronomers believe that any intelligent life elsewhere would likely use it to communicate across the vast distances of space. Think of it as kind of like a universal hailing frequency, a cosmic hello. When he saw these readings, Emmon circled the signal's intensity data on the printout and scribbled WOW in red ink, hence the name. It quickly became one of the most famous signals in astronomical history, the subject of countless books, documentaries, and magazine articles. There's even a WOW signal cocktail named after it. Yet, for all the attention it's received, there are still more questions about the WOW signal than answers. Astronomers have never been able to explain it conclusively, leaving them and the rest of us to wonder, was it a real message from another civilization? A misidentification of a known phenomenon? Or something else entirely? To understand the enigma of the WOW signal, let's first break down what makes it so mysterious in the first place. First, it never repeated. Despite being monitored regularly in the years following its initial detection, the precise signal has never been picked up again, even by more sensitive instruments. If it was a one-off fluke or a glitch, that seems extremely unlikely. After all, Big Ear was meticulously calibrated and checked. The possibility of an Earth-based source was ruled out, and scientists double-checked the data to ensure they had unmissed an obvious duplicate somewhere else in the sky. In fact, the telescope continued to scan the heavens for decades afterwards, without detecting anything similar. Second, it came from a non-terrestrial, non-solar origin. This is a big one. The WOW signal didn't seem to originate from anywhere we know of, at least nothing within our solar system. It didn't match any known radio wave sources on Earth or in space. While it's possible that the signal could have come from outside our solar system, it was impossible to say for sure, because we simply do not know the exact location of every object in the universe. But given how faint most deep space radio signals are, it would have had to have been exceptionally bright to show up as strongly as the WOW signal did. And third, it was on the hydrogen line. Now, you may recall that the WOW signal was detected at precisely 1420.456 MHz, the frequency at which hydrogen atoms naturally emit radio waves. When these atoms are exposed to energy, they absorb energy and release it as radio waves. And because the process is the same every time, the radio waves are always emitted at the same frequency, making it an incredibly useful navigational tool for astronomers studying deep space. But here's the thing. Scientists believe that aliens may also use the hydrogen line for communication. After all, it's a universal constant. Regardless of where you are in the cosmos, 1420.456 MHz will always be the frequency at which hydrogen atoms emit radio waves. This means that it could serve as a kind of universal language, a way for civilizations separated by vast distances and billions of years of evolution to communicate with one another. As a result, many SETI researchers consider the hydrogen line to be a special frequency, a cosmic hailing frequency of sorts. It's as if you were on a desert island and managed to build a radio that could reach across. the ocean to the nearest civilization. You wouldn't want to broadcast your location on just any frequency. You'd want to use one that you knew everyone could hear, one that was universal. And for astronomers, that frequency is 1420.456 MHz. Taken together, these three factors make the WOW signal one of the strongest candidates for an alien transmission ever recorded. Sure, there have been other potential SETI signals over the years, but none has the same combination of strength, narrowband nature, and one-time appearance. So let's talk about the most intriguing theory. It's the one that's captured the imagination of science fiction fans for decades. The idea that the WOW signal was an intentional or unintentional signal from an intelligent extraterrestrial source. Perhaps it was a beacon sent out into the cosmos, a way of saying hello. Maybe it was a radio leak from a distant civilization. Advanced technology, anything's possible. It's a heady notion, isn't it? It's the idea that we're not alone in the universe, that there are other intelligent beings out there maybe watching us, waiting to make contact. But while it's certainly a possibility, it's also worth noting that astronomers have yet to come up with a definitive answer. They can't prove it or disprove it. All they can do is speculate, and over the years they've come up with plenty of alternative theories. One of the more popular ones is the comet reflection theory. It goes like this. Comets are known to reflect sunlight, and some of them pass close enough to Earth that they can be seen from here. In 2017, an astronomer proposed that the WOW signal may have been a radio signal reflected off a passing comet. According to this theory, the comet would have been reflecting a signal from a known radio source, something like a quasar. The idea is that quasars emit huge bursts of radio energy, and if a comet happened to pass through that energy, it could have reflected it back toward Earth. If you're thinking this sounds kind of far-fetched, well, you're not alone. Most astronomers don't take this theory very seriously. For one thing, it would require an awful lot of luck. A comet would have had to pass through a very specific part of the sky at just the right time to reflect the signal toward Earth. But perhaps the biggest problem with this theory is that there is no record of a comet passing through the area at the time the WOW signal was detected. There are other possibilities, of course, such as terrestrial interference or cosmic anomaly. Some have suggested that the WOW signal might have been a freak anomaly caused by some kind of Earth-based interference. But this seems unlikely given Big Ear's twin-feed design. Basically, the telescope was designed to pick up signals from two directions at once. And since the WOW signal only showed up in one of those directions, it ruled out a lot of potential sources of interference. Others have suggested that the WOW signal might have been a one-time glitch, some kind of malfunction in the telescope. But again, there's no evidence to support this theory. If it was a glitch, it was an extremely specific one. A 1 in a million shot that just happened to show up on the hydrogen line and disappear without a trace. At the end of the day, there's simply no consensus on what caused the WOW signal. All we can say for sure is that it remains one of the most exciting, unsolved mysteries in modern astronomy. Why does it continue to fascinate us so much? Well, I think it comes down to a few key factors. First, the WOW signal embodies the SETI dream, the idea that there are other intelligent beings out there in the universe, maybe watching us, waiting to make contact. Second, it represents the tantalizing possibility that we're not alone in the cosmos. And who doesn't want to believe that? Finally, it's just a good mystery. It's a puzzle that's baffled scientists for decades. It's a one-of-a-kind phenomenon that just won't quit. The WOW signal is a cosmic enigma that continues to haunt our dreams and inspire our imaginations. It's a reminder that the universe is a vast and mysterious place that we've barely begun to explore. Who knows what wonders and mysteries it holds, what secrets it keeps close to its chest. But one thing's for sure, the WOW signal will continue to fascinate us for generations to come. It's a phenomenon that's captured the public imagination and inspired countless books, TV shows, and movies. In fact, it even made an appearance in the sci-fi film Arrival, where it's depicted as a potential first contact scenario. As for what the future holds for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, well, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the WOW signal will continue to inspire us to reach for the stars and to ask the ultimate question, are we alone? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content. Also check out our other content. Please like and subscribe.